the rise for quite some time, Firefly is the one to keep an eye out for. Outside of that though, who else can really contest against him? Well, when it comes to the Chinese region, there are a lot of really strong Protoss players, not just Firefly, there's also Cyan as well. And I would have said Jeshi, I should quickly go over that as well. There was an upset, I say an upset, there was a really brutal result where Jeshi actually went up against Silky in the first round of the open qualifier. Only one could make it through. Only one of those players could advance on. Jeshi failed to qualify here for the Closed Qualifier, which is a pretty big result because he's one of the best Protosses in all of China. Doesn't make it through. Silky made it through instead. Silky being the best Zerg player in China. So, yeah, it's kind of brutal now that I think about it that Firefly and Silky are facing off for the first round. That's so sad. Firefly and Silky, this could be a finals match, to be honest. Like, for the seeding to be in such a way is such a shame. So, yeah, Firefly and Silky, arguably the best Protoss and Zerg player in all of China, are facing off in the first round in a best of 3. This could go either way. I'll be honest, this could go either way. I was just hyping up Firefly. I was like, yo, Firefly, you know, he's been popping off. He's been joining new teams. He's on a Korean team right now. You know, he's getting pumped up. He went to IEM Katowice, one of the few from his region to travel and make it to IEM. But he's up against Silky. And if you're unfamiliar with Silky, again, he isn't just the best Zerg player in all of China, but he's a very aggressive player. Very aggressive, very mid-game oriented. So is Firefly, so I expect fireworks. I expect fireworks to really pop off and to really take off, and I don't expect this to be a long series, I'll be honest. I don't expect this to be long. Scrolling down, we have Rex versus Lemon. We have the two players of Taiwan, the best Zerg player and the best Protoss. Oh, my apologies, sorry, I forgot about nice. The best Zerg player, the best random player in all of Taiwan. Lemon, he's been race switching over the years. He's been at competitive levels with Terran, Zerg, and now Protoss. Lemon, depending on the year, he does pick a different race, and now he is settled on Protoss. And I would say that Lemon has a bit of a mountain to climb, but he looks pretty impressive in the qualifiers. On top of that, I spoke about this before, but Rex is not a retired player, but he's a returning player. He's been casting a lot recently. You know, he's semi-retired for a while. He recently came back. Rex is not in full form as much as he was in the past, but now is the time. Now is the time for the practice to really come in and pay off, and I want to believe that Rex has been putting in the hours to compete and to actually make a deep run as well. So that's a little bit harder to call. Like, my heart says Rex, my head kind of says Lemon there, is what I will say when it comes to Rex and Lemon and how they compare to each other. Match 3, Cyan versus Kingslayer. Cyan, I would say he's top 3 Protoss in China. When I think of the top 3 Protoss, I think Firefly, Cyan, and Jeshi in that order. I would put Cyan over Jeshi, and he's going to be another player to make a deep run. We've seen him take down Oliveira in the past, but here we go. We're getting into our picks and bans, and we have Alcyone, Equilibrium, Radicization, Stellaris, Golden Aura, Hecate, all vetoed here throughout the course of this process. And we have come down to Oceanborn, Hardlead, and Sight Delta. Oh boy, a shout out to SCBoy, a shout out to all the lovely sponsors involved as well, Doyu, Aegon, and many others that I'm unfamiliar with. But yeah, actually, rush distance by ground is quite short on both Oceanborn and Hardlead, which is why I'm expecting aggression there, especially from Silky. I feel like on Sight Delta, our Protoss player Firefly can spread his wings a little bit more on Sight Delta, but Hardlead and Oceanborn, I've definitely got my eyes on the Zerg, and here we go, we have cams! Let's go! I was not certain we would, but we do have cams. Vámonos, papi, vámonos. Let's go. We see Firefly and Silky before us. I'm a little bit confused because I have not seen Silky above water in a long time. If you've been watching WTL, Silky's always under the sea. He's like Silky, he's always like deep on the ocean floor, you know, just like in his submersible or in his element. No longer though. Now he's a fish out of water. And hopefully in this kind of new terrain, he's able to breathe freely and fight well. It is here, loving the New Jersey, and here we go, diving into game number 1 in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn. We have, for his new team offside, Firefly. And in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent, we have Silky. the best Zerg player in all of China. Let's go. Let us go. And if you are in the chat, predictions are now open. So you can place your bets on who you believe will advance on here in this best of 3. As a reminder, best of 3, not a best of 5. So bear that in mind when it does come to your predictions. Make sure you're able to again use that to make a more educated decision here on where you want to place your channel points. As we're getting into this, sorry, I'm just quickly setting up. I don't actually need to do this. What am I doing? Okay, we're good. We're good to go. Just keep my eye on anyone. Keeping my eye on everyone, and here we go. So for the time being, we do have some standard openers. It is going to be a hatch gas pull out of Silky, standard opener from our Zerg player. Likewise, a gate expand into Cybercore from Firefly. So in the early game, nothing crazy is going on yet. I don't expect many things to be too crazy in the early game, especially on Oceanborn. On Hardlead, we could see Silky go for a Ling Flood. He could go for a Bane Bust. That is definitely something that I'll keep my eye out for when it comes to Silky. But for now, everything's as it should be. For now. Press in chat. Predictions open. Beautiful. Posting in the chat, making sure everything is good. Again, this is still our first day of closed qualifiers, so just making sure that everything is as smooth as it can be as we settle into our game. Thankfully, nothing too crazy happening yet for the time being. Overlord Scout is coming in just to get eyes on the opener, just to make sure it's not a 2-gate opener, for example, which can be quite frustrating to deal with. But again, standard opener from our Protoss. Silky is fully aware of that as well, as we are pulling back. The color scheme is a little bit interesting to me. I don't know if I like it. Seeing instead of the standard like black text on white for the score, it's like yellowish, greenish. Yeah, my eyes are still adjusting. I'm not gonna lie. My brain is still trying to contain itself, as we do see our tech of choice going to be a Stargate opener out of Firefly. Standard tech so far going to be a Stargate in towards a 3rd base. Meanwhile, Silky is making an extra pair of Lings. Quite a decent amount of them here. He's making an extra pair of 6 Lings to help defend. I'm saying help defend for now, but we'll see if we double down and commit a little bit harder. Oh. We'll see if we do double down and commit. Quickly just double checking something just to make sure. I know our internet speeds are a little bit shaky here, so making sure that everything's okay. There we go. As Lings are going to be moving out towards the right-hand side. Likewise, we do have our Adepts and Oracles moving in towards the left, looking to threaten the bases here of Silky. Looking to threaten, we do not quite commit to the shade, not yet. As Adepts say, shade into the main base. They're going to get a couple of drone kills here. 3 drones going to be going down in the main. Pretty good damage so far with these initial Adepts, but only 3 workers as the Adepts are going to be shut down. Behind this, we're just going to be happily droning. So again, it does look like Silky only made a handful of defensive Lings. Wasn't looking to be too aggressive, and he's just droning up from here. Meanwhile, across the map, it is going to be the Oracle commitment, as to be expected by Firefly. So far, nothing crazy from our Protoss. It's just going to be triple Oracle into a 3rd base. There's that 3rd Oracle on the way as we speak, and this is going to be leading into standard play from Firefly, at least initially. Now, when it comes to the follow-up tech, that is what I'm going to be paying attention to. Whether we go for charge, +1, faster robo, there are just other forms of tech that we can make use of, so I'm going to be keeping my eye out for that. I'm going to be keeping my eye out. Hold on, just making sure. Okay, just make sure everything's as it should. We're going to be moving out with a handful of Adepts. It is going to be 5 Adepts in total on the right-hand side. Meanwhile, we have 2 Oracles maneuvering through the center as well. And do we commit? We do commit to the shade. And we're going to get a handful of Lings here. Queens are trying to keep up, but we do end up shading into the main. So far, no economic damage done yet, but emphasis on yet, because we are getting some drone kills. Finally, 2 workers go down. We get a 3rd worker. Adept so far, they are zoned away by the queens. 3 drones is okay, but we're still looking for more damage from the side of Firefly. We're still looking for more damage. Adept say shade in towards that third base. Lings, they are there to meet them. And I'm uncertain if the latency is on our end or on the clean feed's end, is my problem. So we're going to get 6 drone kills in total. We're going to get a couple more in the main base as well. Good damage dealt here by Firefly. Good damage dealt as we get 8 kills in total. 11, sorry, in total, alongside 22 Lings. From here, Oracles are going to back off as we head in towards the top left. And now we're getting into our follow-up, and this is what I was concerned about. I spoke about how usually Firefly thrives in the mid-game. This is what I meant. We have a Templar Archives on the way, a Gateway Explosion. I believe that's going to be 8 gates in total, plus 1 in charge, not blink. Firefly does intend on being more aggressive earlier, moving out with his Zealots, and being in the face of his opponents. Silky, after sustaining quite a bit of losses, is he going to be ready for this? We need Roaches, we need Banelings to defend. We're working on +1 melee, working on a small Roach army. Ooh, as we're bleeding out a couple more Lings. Good cleanup there by Firefly. Does take down some of those Lings. Behind this, we do have Archons morphing in. Again, it is going to be a chargeable Archon push, and it's going to hit like a truck. Now, thankfully, Silky isn't droning. Silky, he's cutting workers at 3 bases. Actually, less than 3 bases at 62 drones. I spoke earlier that Silky also is typically an aggressive player, and things are going to be popping off here in the mid-game. This is what I meant. As Silky is intentionally not droning, he's building up an army. Will he have enough, though, to defend as Zealots are pushing in? Zealots are moving in towards that natural. At the same time, Silky going for a Ling counterattack. There are Roaches to defend against this. Okay, Lings, they get onto the 4th base. Firefly building himself up. Is going to be supply blocking Silky. The cancel. Ooh, that is not a cancel. That's going to be a kill on the Nexus. 400 minerals down the drain. A big loss there for Firefly. Now he has to commit a little bit harder, but he does not have a prism with his army. Doesn't have a prism. He has to respect the Roaches, has to back up. Again, Silky has not been droning. He's still making more Lings, more Roaches. And we do see Firefly transitioning. Okay, it looks like he has recognized he cannot break his opponent. And now Firefly is in a rough position because his 4th was killed. He has to rebuild his 4th, get into his 2nd Robo, the Bay, Disruptor, or Colossus production, +2, Blink. All of what I just mentioned just started. Until it all kicks in, Firefly is going to be in a bit of trouble. He's going to be vulnerable. And until then, Silky still has barely droned. He's droned up to 67, which is 3 base saturation. He's still making more Roaches, more Lings. We have Baneling speed on the way alongside +2. Silky, he might just refuse to drone from here and max out and just move out across the map with a death ball of an army. And I don't know if Firefly can defend against that. Not anymore. We'll see. We got 5 more drone kills here in the natural. Ooh, Silky heavily supply blocking. 5 Overlords. Aye, aye, aye. Not ideal here for our Zerg player. He does catch some of these Zealots, though. Can he get the Archon? Up! Gets a couple of Zealots. 8 more drones go down. Silky's all in. 8 more drones fall here to the Zealot run by forcing the all-in. That's all well and good, but I'll be honest, as Firefly is forcing Silky all-in, I don't know if Firefly can defend against the all-in. Disruptors are on the way. We need them desperately. We have 2 Disruptors being made at a time. Here come the Banelings. Here comes the push. It's all or nothing for Silky. He's down to 56 workers. He has less, or he's down over 20 workers compared to Firefly. Like, as the game goes on longer, it's worse and worse for Silky. Like, the Zerg player is on a timer, and we gotta go now. We have to go here and now. Firefly is setting up back at home, ready to receive. We have Disruptors, Stasis Traps, Shield Batteries. Our first Nova is a bit premature. We only have 1 Nova left. It's gonna go off. Oh! Decent connection. Decent connection on those Banelings. Cut down the Banelings by around a 1/3. They're going to be crashing on into those Stalkers. Good blinks here from Firefly. Falling back into the Stasis Trap. Does get baited out, though. Only connects with a handful of Lings. The Concave, though, might just be a little bit too good. We're running out of Lings. Running out of Ling Bane, the Novas are going to be going off. They connect with the Roaches and the Ravagers. Big connections there from Firefly. And he will clean up the army, clean up the Roaches. And what is there left for Silky? Almost nothing. Remember, Silky, he was all in, and the all-in has failed. With that defense, look at the supplies here. Look at the disparity in supply. The soup this time does not lie as they're pushing right through the middle of the map. And Silky, he's down to 60 workers. He's redroning. He rallies a couple of drones into the army as well. Unfortunate miss rally. And back at home, we have a handful of queens. We can transfuse each other. We can buy a little bit of time. But again, we need more than that. Need more than just queens. And honestly, Firefly, he can be a little bit more assertive. He can commit. Instead, you can see Firefly just dipping his toes in, being very safe, very careful. Takes down some tumors. Takes down a couple of tumors, rotates around, engages with some of these queens. We do have links to defend. Again, Firefly is still building up his main army, going for a zealot run by at the same time. Catches a couple of reinforcements. Yeah, drones are going to be going down. Banelings, they're spent here on a handful of zealots. It's just such a massive uphill battle here for Silky. And you can see that Firefly is about to max out. He's about to reach 200 supply. And with that maxed out army, it's going to be insane. It's going to be out of this world here. Silky trying to build himself back up. But again, this is just the situation that you find yourself in if you do go all in. That's why we call it an all in, is that you're putting everything on the line. If it fails, I mean, you just get outscaled. You just get outscaled very quickly, and that's happening right before our eyes here between Firefly and Silky. That there's just nothing else behind this. Nova's going to be going off, stoning back the army. That's what, 6 disruptors? Did I say 6? I meant to say 8. 8 disruptors. Novas are going off. Stasis trap here on the Lings. We fail the flank. And GG gets called. Firefly takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. And again, it was not a bad game out of Silky. He had his moments. Silky had his moments. The best moment for Silky was the moment that he was able to shut down that 4th base. It was a very like pivotal moment for him. Unfortunately, after killing the 4th, he was really struggling to maintain his economy, and that also means that his all-in is weaker. His all-in gets slowed down as he bleeds out units, because when you're all-in, yes, you don't need the highest drone count, but you need a drone count to actually maintain yourself, to actually facilitate for the all-in and actually, you know, keep up with your production and pull it off. If you do lose too many drones, then your all-in becomes weaker and weaker, and it felt like that's what kind of happened there. On top of that, it did also feel like Silky maybe gave Firefly a little bit too much time. The disruptors, they did play a big role in the defense. They played a big role there. We saw some big Novas going off on the Roach Ravager. The splits were not what they needed to be from Silky, and Firefly did pop off. With that, game 1 in favor of the Protoss. Whew. And now we're getting ready for game number 2. Game numero dos, papi. Here we go. Now, hard lead, shortest rush distance by ground. Shortest rush distance by ground, the shortest map in the map pool. We can be much more aggressive as a Zerg player. I mean, we already saw Silky attempt a 3-base all-in. What if we wound it back a little bit? What if we ramped it up in a way? Instead of a 3-base all-in, what about a 2-base all-in, papi? We'll see, we'll see. Again, a hard lead, we have seen a lot of Roach-based all-ins on hard lead. What I'm referring to is either a German taxi, or you just create a creep highway and just waddle the queens across the map. We've seen it very often on hard lead. I would not put it past Silky to have that cross his mind. Whether he whips it out, we're here to find out. We are here to find out as we're getting ready for game number 2. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of hard lead, we have Firefly for Team Offside. And in the top left, we have his opponent. We have, for the Starving Camels, Silky. Here we go. Also, yeah, big shout out to StarsWar 11, their lovely sponsors. So Team WE, Team We, if you will. Doyu, Aegon, SCBoy, and other sponsors that I'm unfamiliar with, but big shout out to them. Big shout out. Hold on, do I have a list? Ooh, I do not. Don't have a list of sponsors. But regardless, big shout out to the sponsors. Without them, this event would not be possible. A lot of people, I'm sure, are unfamiliar. They're like, StarsWar? What? 11? Did I miss like 1 through 10? What's going on? Like, we keep up with all the StarCraft. True. Apparently, this was an event back in the day, but it's been on hiatus. Or, I should say, StarsWar has been a big esports event that has been going on and has not included StarCraft for a couple of years. Apparently, StarCraft was featured at this event in the past, but in recent years, StarCraft wasn't really on the ticket. Other esports are being featured instead. But here, for the 11th edition, StarCraft is back. StarCraft is back. So it's great to see the interest return here once again from the Chinese scene to bring StarCraft back into the fold for this tournament. So really great to see. For those that are curious, I believe StarsWar 11, it features more, when it comes to the offline event, it's going to be more than just StarCraft. There's going to be other esports going on, maybe some Warcraft 3, maybe some CS, or some other popular esports in China. Dota, I would imagine. If you're a little bit more familiar with the details, then let us know. Let us know in the chat, because I'm not so much. I'm just here for the StarCraft, I'm just here for the StarCraft. As we're getting into our hatch gas pull, Silky getting into his Ling speed. Meanwhile, Gate expanded to Cybercore, standard openers so far from our players. But just because the openers are standard doesn't mean the game itself will be standard. As we saw in the last game, as we saw in game number 1. As for now, we are just going to be settling in. Oh. Is that me? Okay, we're good. Just making sure we're okay. For now, we are just going to be fanning out our units. We do have an extra pair of Lings on the way once again from Silky. This is looking similar to game 1, where he did make an extra 6 Lings, but I think it's only just for Adept defense. And as I say that, Adepts are about to move out, at least one of them across the map. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, so Firefly went for another Stargate opener, not Oracle. Phoenix opener out of Firefly, very interesting. We haven't seen a Phoenix opener in quite some time. I know that Classic was very fond of it for a while, back in Masters Coliseum and even before that, but it feels like post Masters Coliseum and post IEM, Phoenix and Void Ray openers have fallen off quite a lot. The meta has shifted. I'm loving the shuffling there from Firefly, but it is going to be a Phoenix first. We're going to be able to get across the map. We're going to be able to shut down one of these Overlords, or at least force them back. And for those who are curious, the purpose of a Phoenix opener is to deny vision, is to deny scouting, is to keep the Zerg player in the dark as to what the Protoss is up to. And we can see that it's just going to be Oracles as a follow-up, but the Zerg doesn't know that until now. Oracle is revealed here to the Overlord and to the army, so we should be getting Queens ready, should be getting Spores ready. But again, it's going to be very difficult to scout the follow-up tech, whether it's a Twilight Council Forge, Twilight Council on its own, Robo first, whatever is the next tech structure from the side of Protoss is going to be difficult to get a read on here from the Zerg. And we can see it's going to be a Twilight Council and a Forge for +1. This looks like +1 Blink. It could be +1 and Charge again. I'm leaning a little bit more on the side of Blink, but we'll see. Nothing too fancy yet out of Firefly, but again, the Zerg player is unaware. Zerg player is unaware. After this series as well, I will be switching over to the YouTube stream. Currently I'm using the Twitch clean feed, but it seems to be a little bit lagging, so I will switch over to YouTube. So hopefully it is a little bit better. Fingers crossed. For now, it is going to be 4 drone kills here with the Oracles. They're going to be able to pivot away. Meanwhile, there's a lair. There's Overlord speed on the way. I am curious. So this was a lair first out of Firefly. We are taking extra gases. Yeah, we're taking 2 more gases. Okay. Part of me was like, yo, are we going to go for a Queen all-in? I'm still actually leaning on that. I'm still leaning on just massing up Roaches and Queens and going for that German taxi. We alluded to it that it's very popular on hard lead to go for a German taxi or to go for a creep highway. And there it is. Drop loads are on the way. The drop loads are for the Queens. Roach is going to be waddling around through the ground. They're just going to be heading straight across the map to the 3rd base. Silky is going for his all-in. We're cutting drones here at 52, and it's gonna be on Firefly to defend. Ooh, did he see the Dropper Lord? I'm uncertain if he saw it. It looks like he gets a couple of drone kills, is backing off from there. Silky pushing right through the center. Yep, he sees! He knows exactly what's going on. 2 more shield batteries on the way. There's going to be 3 shield batteries in total at the third base. We have 2 more on the way at the natural. Overcharge is going to be available and plenty of shield batteries. And Firefly has a couple of seconds here to respond. A couple of seconds to just get ready for this, to stabilize, to prepare for the all-in. It was charged, by the way, and he does collapse on these lings ahead of time. Oh my god. He just meets the all-in head-on. He catches some of these roaches. Roaches are getting caught out. Do we have a force field? We do not. Queens are forced to unload. Zealots are being forced back, but they killed a good chunk of roaches. Very efficient trade from Firefly. And he stops the all-in in its tracks. Yeah, Silky, he backs off. Just like that. Silky has to back off. He's droning. Bailey Nest is on the way. 4th base is on the way. Firefly, just no fear whatsoever. He sees the all-in and he just fights it in the middle of the map. And just like that, Silky, he's forced to back off. Zealots overextending a little bit here, trading with lings. Not ideal. The Biles! Ooh, they take down an Oracle. Good pick up at the same time, but FSA shaded to the natural base. Silky, he's distracted. His attention elsewhere. He's going to be losing 3 drones in his natural and even more in the main. Firefly, he may have thrown away his Zealots, but remember, that's just minerals. Zealots just trading out minerals here for economic damage. Getting a 6th, a 7th, and 8th drone as well. Oh my god. Firefly, calm down. 8 workers fall. Firefly in a commanding position. He's ahead in the economy. He's ahead in the tech. He's working on Blink, +2, Robo for Immortal production. Sorry. That's a 2nd Robo on the way, I think, for Immortal production. I may have missed the Bay thrown down. I definitely may have missed that Robotics Bay. Oh, I did. There we go. It's double disruptor production already. So the Bay is already done. You can see just how far ahead tech-wise Firefly is. And he is going to be pushing. Meanwhile, Silky going for the Spire. I like the move of going for the Spire if we didn't just go for a failed all-in. This Spire is a bit of a Hail Mary play. It is a Hail Mary play here. It's if Firefly leaves Silky alone, then Mutas, they have potential. They can wreak havoc across the map, get a lot of economic damage done. They can do quite a lot for themselves if they go unscouted. And if we live long enough. If we do live long enough, as... yeah, we do get a couple of drone kills in the main base as well. 4 drones go down. Silky just stuck defending, stuck trying to keep up. As a reminder, his kind of win condition here is to try to get away with those mutas. But it's still a ways off. Again, Silky re-droning, droning up to 75. But really, I'm waiting for Firefly's push. Now, what's important here is that Firefly still has not scouted that Spire. He still doesn't know that mutas are going to be on the way. And looking at this army at least, I know that we have Blink, but we don't have many Blink Stalkers currently here for Firefly. Yeah, we're reinforcing with Zealots, Disruptors, and Archons. These mutas, they can pop off. And there we go, 6 mutas on the way, 8 mutas on the way. Firefly, did we wait too long? Yeah, we're just pointing out here that he failed to scout the Spire. Now, he can reactively war. Oh god, the Novus! The Disruptor drop here at the 4th. He's crazy. Gets a couple of drones. But again, I'm concerned because we can warp in Stalkers reactively. That is true. We're throwing down stack defense on the front lines, but the main and the natural are exposed, and a lot of probes can fall here to the mutas. And after dealing economic damage, we can even use the mutas to snipe Disruptors. We can use them to snipe those Disruptors, so we'll see how much value we can get as we're making our way towards the main. Silky is stabilizing. He's re-droning after losing all those workers. Mutas, they get into the main base. 1 Stalker to defend. No shield battery, no cannon. 0 stack defense here in the main base. Lings at the same time, they go for a run by. Oh, Bailings, they crash into a Disruptor. Doesn't quite go off. Novas are connecting. Novas are going to be connecting. The Archons, they do respond. Looks like the Ling run by is going to be deflected. At the same time, we lose 6 probes in the main. We do snipe 1 Muta. So this could have been worse. This could have been so much more damage. We have so many Banelings, 15 Banelings on the way, but the Novas are going to be going off, and can we connect with those Banelings? We go for the Roach Ravager instead. Yeah, the Novas are a little bit lackluster. A better Nova towards the end. Oof. Does take out a big chunk of the army. And does Silky have enough? Oh, the manual detonation! I'm pretty sure that was a manual detonation on the Banelings, so bit of miscontrol there out of Silky. I'm pretty sure I saw the Banelings get detonated before the Nova connected. Regardless, we are pushing through. And it looks like Firefly, he still has too much. He still has far too much on the ground. I was concerned that maybe he was a little bit too passive, a little bit too defensive, but no, he's got a death bull of an army. The mutas, they cannot break through these Stalkers and not through the Archons. They take down the Prism. They focus on some of the Disruptors. We lose 22 drones in the process. And there's still too many Stalkers. The mutas are being focused down one after the other. And we reset the muta count. GG gets called, and Firefly will take the series 2-0. GG. Ooh. GG. Well, hold on. There we go. It's a little bit better. GG, well played. Firefly, he will take the series 2-0, advancing on into the next round. And my condolences. My condolences here to... Oh. Hold on, I'm gonna have to try to... There we go. My condolences to Silky, as he has been eliminated. He has been knocked out. And with that, we have our first player making it into the semifinals. Firefly has made it to the semifinals, and we have yet to determine who makes it into the next round. Who else will face off against Firefly? Will it be Rex or Lemon, a Zerg, or a Protoss? We're going to be going on a short break. I'm going to quickly set up a different stream just to try to stabilize a couple of things. Actually, I feel like things have evened out. We're going to be going on a short break. When we return, Rex versus Lemon. See you soon.